Hello, it's Maddie F, baby, here with some Nightmare Cup action for you. Yeah, that's for you. And today we're gonna be talking about Umbreon versus the Nightmare Cup meta, cause the night is dark and full of terror. So let's go over this thick dark type boy, and let's go see how it does in a lot of the matchups against some of the top meta for the Nightmare Cup. So you know what I'm about to say. I made this, and it's not the prettiest, but we'll get better at these. The next two graphics look a lot better, in my opinion. But yeah, here we go. So we got the Umbreon versus all the dark types, right? So all the top dark types of this meta. So let's look over here at the top one. We got Shiftry versus Umbreon. You see the arrow going from Umbreon to Shiftry. It's got that razor leaf. You know, it's got that leaf blade, and then I think it's got Dark Pulse, that Shiftry. So, you know, we do take neutral damage from Razor Leaf and from Leaf Blade. You know, we're going to resist that Dark Charge move. But you look over at Umbreon, it doesn't do so hot against Shiftry, you know, because Shiftry's going to resist almost everything Umbreon has to throw at it, except for that last resort. So look, Umbreon is going to win with 1 shield to 0 and with 2 shields to 0. Those are the two situations. If they were to meet full health, equal energy, equal IVs, that's the situation where Umbreon will win. We did all of these simulations and found out all this information using pvpokey.com. And if you're not familiar with how to use PvPokey, let me know, and I may go make a little breakdown on just how to quickly run through PvPokey and use it as a resource. So as you can see, we win the 1 and 2 to 0 shield situations, but we look the other way. Neutral shields with no shields, 0 to 1 shield, 1 to 1, 2 shields for Umbreon, 1 for Shiftry, and even shielding with 2 shields each. Shiftry's just going to win all those matchups, okay? It's going to win all of them. Yeah, so Shiftry's going to do really well against Umbreon in this in-house fighting between the dark types. Next, go look at that thick boy, Alolan Raticate, and Umbreon's going to win the 1 to 0 matchup. If Umbreon has 1 shield, we're gonna have the victory. And if Raticate has 0 shields, if we have 2 shields to Raticate's 1, we get that victory. If it's an even shielding at 2-2, we get that victory. So with shields, Umbreon's gonna do really well against Raticate. We have the Bite, and then we have Bite, Hyper Fang, and Crunch on the Raticate when we made our sims, because that's our preferred moveset. We're not a fan of Quick Attack personally. And then you look over at Raticate, it wins in a 0 shield situation. It wins when up by 1 shield. Every time it's up by 1 shield, it's going to win, or the 0 to 0. It doesn't win the 2 to 2, but it wins the 0 to 0. So you see it loses the 0 to 1, or it wins the 0 to 1, Raticate does, and it wins the 1 to 2. And I'm always going to talk about Umbreon, his shield situation first, you know what I'm saying? So if I say 1 to 0, that means Umbreon has 1 and the other Pokemon has 0, and that's always going to be the way I'm going to talk about this. And then we look over behind Raticate, it says 1 to 1, and that's because at a 1 to 1 shield scenario, equal health, equal energy, it's going to be a simultaneous knockout. Boom. So yeah, we do alright against Raticate, and it's really hit or miss. It just depends on the situation. It's kind of crazy breakdown because, you know, 0 to 0, Raticate wins, no shields at all, but with a bunch of shields, Umbreon wins. So next, and then that simultaneous knockout, that one's pretty cool at the 1 to 1. So next we got Alolan Muck, and we had the Poison Jab, and then the Dark Pulse, and then Sludge Wave as our preferred moveset. We tried to even throw in an Acid Spray, see if that did anything different, but it says Sludge Wave as the preferred moveset. I think that is the way to go personally. So we look, and Umbreon's going to win the 1 to 0 situation and the 2 to 0 situation. It loses a lot to Alolan Muck. And then you look over behind Alolan Muck, if they are both at no shields, it's going to be a simultaneous KO. So going down a little bit, you see Alolan Muck just wins all sorts of scenarios. If you have no shields and it has 1, if it's 1 to 1, if it's even 2 to 1 for Umbreon, Alolan Muck still wins. So it's not a good matchup at all, Umbreon versus Alolan Muck. It's going to be one of those situations where you kind of want to get out of there and go get your Alolan Muck counter, like a Toxicroak that can get those mud bombs off at it. So yeah, you see at the 0 to 0 no shields, and it is a simultaneous knockout. So you can see Alolan Muck wins a lot of those situations. Next we have a Pokemon I didn't really talk about in the previous Nightmare Cut meta video. We have Tyranitar. We got Tyranitar. So we got Smackdown, Stone Edge, and Crunch on that thing. It's going to do really well against stuff like Xatu in particular. And there actually has really good matchups in the meta of the T-Tar. I'll go over that in a different video. Don't have that information off the top of my head written down anywhere. But yeah, I looked at its top matchups, and it does really well against a lot of Pokemon. So you can see Umbreon is going to win 2 situations, so not very good. It really needs 2 shields to have any chance at Tyranitar. So if Umbreon has 2 shields and Tyranitar does not have 2 shields, then it's going to do pretty heckin' well. So you look at Tyranitar, it wins the 0-0, the 1-0, the 0-1, the 1-1, and the 1-2. So T-Tar just kind of eats Umbreon's lunch. But speaking of eating lunch, let's go over here. We don't even need the shield situations thrown up on the board. Umbreon versus Spiritomb. Umbreon is going to resist the crap out of Ghost type moves. Dark type's going to resist Ghost, and Umbreon's thick to boot. So the combination of being a thick boy and being resistant to everything, fast move and charge move wise, that Spiritomb can throw at it. Umbreon is going to eat Spiritomb's lunch, as a lot of dark Pokemon do. We got the Skuntank as the next little guy over here, and Umbreon has some chances against there. It loses in most matchups, but it wins the 1-0, the 2-1, and the 2-0 situation. So that's pretty cool. It needs a shield advantage against the Skuntank. If they have no shields at all, both of them, Skuntanks win. Skuntanks win. If Skuntank has the 0-1 shield advantage, it's going to go ahead and eat its lunch. It wins the 1-1, the 1-2, and the 2-2. So for the Skuntank, we were running Sims with the Poison Jab, with Crunch and the Sludge Bomb, the Sludge Bomb as the charge move. So that's the moveset we're running the Sims with, and we think it's the better moveset. You don't really need Flamethrower this go around. So it doesn't do completely horrible against Skuntank, but it is going to need at least 1 shield and a shield advantage. If you don't have the shield advantage, it is going to lose every single time. So keep that in mind. Drapion is one of the most even matchups below for Umbreon, even though it's going to take super effective damage from that infestation bug. Umbreon is. So yeah, it's kind of a cool matchup, I thought. Yeah, Umbreon wins the 0-0, it wins the 1-1, it wins the 1-0, it wins the 2-1, and the 2-0. Yeah, so it does really well against Drapion in comparison to a lot of the other dark types. Umbreon's only going to win 4 different scenarios: the 0-1, the 1-2, the 2-2, and the 0-2. Which you expect most Pokemon to win 0-2 matchups where they have a 2 shield advantage, but that's not always the case. As you can see with Spiritomb, like Spiritomb could have 2 shields, Umbreon could have none. Spiritomb is still going to lose. So that's the dark types. It does okay against a couple of them, but in general is not great at the in-house fighting. But let's go look at the psychic types. And this one's going to be a lot faster to break down because it's just going to straight go to town. This is what you expect, right? A dark type versus some psychic types. So we're not going to go too into depth in talking about this part because, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm just here to tell you what you need to worry about and what situations you might need to look out for. So as you can see, Wrecked to Slowbro in every situation. Hypno, Wrecked in every situation. There is one situation where if a Hypno is almost at a Focus Blast, that you'll be able to you'll be able to have a chance against Umbreon, but still, it's not even really it's not a good situation. You want to get out of there with all these Pokemon. It's gonna wreck the Claydol. It's gonna wreck the Bronzong. It's gonna destroy the Chimecho. It's gonna be resistant everything the Chimecho has to throw at it. The Shadow Balls and the Psychic. That's a really good matchup for that. And I was actually kind of surprised that there really wasn't any situation where the Xatu was able to take down the Umbreon. That was a great surprise to me. But let's go look at some of the stuff we do have over here. So we have Gallade versus Umbreon. This one was actually kind of a shock that, Gallade does have one winning situation. If Gallade has the two shields, he's going to go ahead and take care of him. He's got those Leaf Blades. Umbreon is going to resist that confusion, but it will win the 0-2 shield advantage situation. The Gallade will. So keep your eyes peeled if you're in that situation. We're like, dang, I ain't got no shields. I'm at the end of the match, and this Gallade's got 2 shields. I don't know how I got myself in this predicament, but I did. Yeah, you're not doing so hot. you might lose that. Next, let's go up and look at the Raichu. It's kind of the same deal as the Gallade, where Raichu's going to get wrecked in most situations, except for the 0 to 2 situation, where Raichu has 2 shields and Umbreon has 0. Raichu is going to win that situation. And then you see the 0 to 1 that I have right next to Umbreon. So if next to Raichu, so if Umbreon has 0 shields and Raichu has 2, then it's going to be a simultaneous KO. Of course, this is all from PvPoke Simulations, so go check them out if you haven't. And it is all at a even energy, even health starting point. So not saying you can't ever win in any situation, but from an even standpoint, no, you cannot. And that's how this is being broken down. But yeah, I just want to give a huge thank you to my new friend Madison Kate. You are such a sweetheart. I really appreciate you so hard, and I have her link in the description. She just won her Nightmare Cup. Used Umbreon every time in every lineup, and I think that's pretty amazing. And she helped me do the research, do the sims, so that I was able to make sure that I had accurate information from PvPoke and in a timely manner be able to get this done. So thank you so much, and I do hope y'all go and check her out. So let's move on, and we're almost done. We got the fighting types, and right, you can see here, it's a lot of wrecked, man. There's a couple with IVs where it doesn't get wrecked, but yeah, Umbreon is going to get wrecked by Poliwrath. This is the Mud Shot, Power Up Punch, Ice Punch Poliwrath, and the only way that Umbreon is going to have a chance is going to be if it has 2-0 with IV. So Umbreon needs 2 shields and it needs to have like an IV advantage. So yeah, that's the only chance it really has. And the same with Lucario. It's going to get wrecked. Umbreon's going to get wrecked in every scenario except for the 2-0 situation if Umbreon has the IV advantage. And yeah, it's got to, that's yeah, don't count on all that. So next, let's look at Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan is going to go ahead and wreck up. It's going to wreck Umbreon. And you can see I have the double-sided arrow, and that's because it's going to be a simultaneous knockout if Umbreon has the 2-0 shield advantage. So Hitmonchan does work against Umbreon straight up, point blank period, eats at lunch, except for when they're at a 2-0 shield advantage for Umbreon, and then it's just going to be a simultaneous knockout. And right over here, we'll look at Toxicroak, and this is probably its best chance in this meta. It does have 2 winning scenarios. It has 2-0 with just, you know, equal IVs, equal health, equal energy. But if you have an IV advantage, you may be able to come out on top in a 2-1 advantage. So every other advantage, or every other shield scenario, Umbreon is going to lose against the Toxicroak. Yeah, so that's it. That's our little Umbreon breakdown. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Go check out my new merch in the description. Go check out the link to Madison's YouTube channel. I hope you guys go show her love, and thank you so much for the help again. Thank you to Matt at PvPoke for making that website for us to use, and yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and tell a friend too. It's your boy Maddie F, baby. Felt loved, appreciated, and I hope you do too. Peace out.